Hi friends, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel leelawebdev. In the previous video, we have did this done callback. About this done callback, we have learned about this done callback. Why we need to use this done callback? So whenever you are working on this asynchronous call, whenever you are dealing with the promises, so we need to execute. We need to wait the test case until this promise is resolved. So for that reason, so when you pass it as a parameter for this done. So whenever you call this done method only, then only this test case will be completed. So if it doesn't pass this done means if it doesn't call this done callback, so it will wait until 5 seconds and it will go out with the timeout session. So these are all the things we have seen it. Now the thing what we are able to understand is whenever I am trying to execute this test case, we are calling the external API URL. So whenever I try to refresh it, so it is calling the external API URL. So all the time whenever we are running the test, calling these external sources will cost you resource cost. Resource cost will be more. So in order to reduce the resource cost, why can't we spy on this API so that we can mock the API call, make it that response, we got the response from the server. So why can't we make it that one? So let's try to do it that scenario. So in order to mock the API URL, first of all we need to spy on the fetch. So we are spying on this fetch, right? So where is this fetch? Main.spec, in the calculator.js we are using this fetch. So let's try to spy on this fetch. So here I will be doing spy on, here spy on window, okay, spy on the window, and we need to spy on this window in the window fetch method. We need to spy on this fetch method. That's it. So we are spying on this window fetch. And here we are able to see that this returns the promise. Okay, this returns the promise. So we need to return the promise. So here I can use end dot return value. So we need to return the promise. Just try to do promise dot resolve. Okay. So promise dot resolve. So we have used this promise dot resolve. Now let's try to see this one. If I try to see this calculator, and here we are able to get the error that cannot read properties of undefined. So as we are mocking, as we are doing this one, so calculator dot version dot then we know that the fetch promise will return what it will try to return in the calculator.js. This fetch promise returns the readable stream, that is response stream. Let's try to convert that one also. Let's try to do that one also. Here what I can do, new response. Okay, I can do the new response. So this one, let's try to make it version, and it should be something like 0.4. Okay, I have mocked this one. Here instead of checking, so here I can write like this. Yeah, that's it. So now if I try to see it has been successfully called. The test has successfully passed. And if you try to check the network, so every time you refresh, so we will be not calling this API. So what we have did, we have spied on this window fetch, and we all the time what we have did, we have made it promise.resolve. So if you want to the promise.reject, if you want to catch the error method means you can do the promise.reject in another test case. So now if you try to remove this done, okay, so let's try to see it. If you try to remove this done, if I try to execute, so here, so we are able to get spec has no expectations. Sometimes what we will try to do is we will be getting this one as passed. So sometimes we will get this one as passed. Why? Because so this promise resolve will be completed very fast. So for that reason it will be finished, where there is no need to go to this one. But it is a best scenario that output will be unpredicted. So it is a best scenario to use the done thing when you are dealing with the asynchronous calls. So that's it. So we have did this one. Now another thing what we need to complete is, here in our main.spec.js we have stopped this one. We have stopped this one, right? So now let's open this one, okay, in the pending state. So now here if you try to see calculator.version.then is not a function. Now we are able to get some errors. Let's try to solve it. So here what is the problem we are getting is, so show version, if we try to see this show version in the main.js, this show version, now the calculator version returns a promise. So it is not a direct value, it returns a promise. Now let's go to this here. So here we are trying to spy on this calculator.get, right? So here let's try to return the promise. Okay, so promise dot resolve, and let's try to send it 0.9 or something like this. Okay, So that's it. Now this promise will say return this 0.9. Let's try to see the output. So now here expected object promise to be equal to 0.9. We are able to see another error. What is that is? So here we are trying to see spy, the spy method we are expecting that is equal to 0.9. Where is this spy method is a promise. It will return a promise. So if you want means what you can do is spy dot then, okay. So you will get the response, that means nothing but the version, you will get the version, and here what I can do, expect of version to be 0.9. So 0.9 I am trying to check it. Now if you try to see, so here we need to, as we are using this asynchronous thing, we need to use the done, so that we will be able to tell it. So done callback. Okay, now if you try to see, so this one we got it as passed. But here if you try to see, we are spying on this own property, we are spying on our own property, and we are passing this 0.9 and we are checking that version is equal to 0.9. We are testing this spy thing. So that is not the correct scenario. So if you try to see this main.js, if you try to see here, when we get the response version, so this version we have marked it to send only 0.9. So now when we get this version, we are updating it in the element.innerText. Okay, we will be checking that whether this element.innerText got updated with the version or not. So here the element.innerText is also spied, is also marked here. If you go to the main.spec.js, here we have marked this spying on this document.getElementById. This is nothing but an element. So let's try to take this constant element. So let's assume that this is an element. Okay. So now here we will be having this inner text. Now here when the spy is called, here we need to check that expect element. So element we need to execute so that you will get the inner text. So whether inner text is updated with the version what we are trying to check it. So here we need to check that whether this version we got it is updated or not, we need to check it. So this is the scenario we need to check. So now if you try to see still the thing is got. Now if I try to see that element.innerText is to get updated with 0.8 or something like that. Now if you try to see, we got error expected 0.9 but it is 0.8. So element.innerText it got updated with the 0.9 but you are checking with the 0.8. So here I can check, so version, that's it. So spy when we got the success, we are checking that element.innerText is got updated with the version or not, we are trying to check it. So now if I try to refresh, that's it, we got the update output. So why we are checking like this, we are calling this show version. So when we call this show version, so it will execute that one. So here we are checking that the spy has been called or not, and to have been called times or not we are checking. When the spy is executed after execution of the spy, so when this one is got executed or not, we are trying to check it. That element.innerText is to be version equal or not, we are trying to check it. So this is all completely we are checking in the show version. This is how we will be dealing with the asynchronous functionality. The main thing you need to understand is the done method. Okay. Hope you understood about this spying on this window.fetch property. Here we have spied on this fetch property and we are sending our own thing so that we can cut the external API calls. So we can reduce the calls to the API calls when we are trying to test it. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.